Well, I'm just not that type of person. I'm just not that type of person. Well, you grew up different than I did. Why do you want to stay the way you are? Make excuses for it when you can change. You hear it all too many times. And then the worst one that I hear is, well, you just don't understand. Most of the time, if somebody doesn't understand, it's because what you're going through isn't really socially acceptable or is not right. You're off track. Some people in their lives are so full of conflict and so full of drama, and they can't see the other side. A coworker comes up to you and says something and that you don't like, and you respond snarky to them, and then that creates a conflict. And then on your way home, you call people and you say, oh, well, somebody at work started an argument with me. They're blah, blah, blah. And you can't see that you're the one that started the conflict. That's where the problem is. You think because they upset you, they were the problem. First of all, you allowed them to upset you. You're the only one that can control your emotions. You're the only one that can control your thoughts. At work, we hear a lot of times, and although sometimes work can get a little stressful here and there, depending on your job. But the thing is you say, oh, I've had a stressful week at work. No, you had a busy week. You allowed it to be stressful if you did. That's why I think journaling is so important. It has become in my life, writing stuff down so you can read it back to yourself to understand it. It's not just journaling to get your thoughts out. Then go back and read it. If you've had a really stressful week, which I like to say is a busy week, write it down, just a short description, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then like on Saturday or Sunday afternoon, after you go see the good Lord and you're just relaxing, read those days back to you. And the days that you thought were so stressful, like say, oh, well, you really thought Wednesday was stressful. If you read that day back to you, your short little description, you'd probably realize that it really wasn't. You'd probably realize, if you were honest with yourself, this doesn't work unless you're honest with yourself, because that's the first step of the process. You would probably realize that it really was not near as stressful as you thought. You allowed it to be stressful in your mind when it was just a busy week. And, in life, you're going to have a lot of busy weeks at work. So you've got to learn how to, manage that and manage your feelings and your anxiety and your stress level, because it's only up to you. You can say anybody can upset you, but, your reaction and how long you're going to stay in that state of mind, that's totally up to you. It's being honest with yourself. I look at it just like getting sober. You can't get sober until you're honest with yourself. The 12 steps of the program, of the AA program, the first step, which is the most important, is admitting that you're basically wrong and that you do not have control or power over yourself or this thing anymore. That's the same thing with stress, anxiety. If you're rude, if you're an angry person, you've got to first of all admit that you don't have power over it. You need some help. You need to pray about it. And so being honest with yourself is the first problem. Let's say if you're angry all the time, and people are like, why are you angry all the time? When you say, well, it's just the way I am, or that's the way I was raised. No. You're lying to yourself and you're lying to others, because you can't be honest with yourself and lose your ego and say, hey, I have a problem with anger. I need to realize it and I need to fix it. And 90% of the problem is just being honest with yourself and realizing it. Then it only takes about 10% to fix it. But until you can lose your ego and become humble and realize that you have a problem and admit it and be honest with yourself, you can't fix nothing until you do that. And that goes for everything in life, everything. So, that's just something to think about. Why would you want to be the way you are? There's all these things that we hear, and I wrote a list of them down, that we say, and why would you want to stay that way? Here's just a few that I've thought about throughout the last few days. Well, I just wasn't raised that way. Well, I'm just not outgoing. Well, I'm just not the kind of person to let things go. Well, I have to plan everything. Well, I just get stressed out easier than you do. Well, you just don't understand. Well, I'm just not a jolly type person. Well, I just can't let things go. These are all terrible things. If you hear yourself saying any of these things, then it's just, there's no way you can be positive. All those things create conflict, drama, stress, and they're just not true, because you don't have to be that way. You choose to be that way because you can't lose your ego and be honest with yourself and say, I need to change. And, I think of this a lot, and I've thought about it a lot more recently. God asks us to come into to give ourselves to him. And if you just, it's always give yourself to him and he'll give you everything. I was a turd ball for years, drinking, drugging, terrible. And God says, you give me yourself, which is a turd ball, and I'll give you everything. It's amazing. But, people that are always in control or always have to give you their opinion or always in conflict, that's really hard to give yourself over. And if you can't do that, you can't become a child of God, and you can't reap the benefits that he wants to give you. Full surrender. You can't just go to church. You can't just, read a good book now and then. Full surrender in everything in your life. God is number one every day in every decision, whether you're buying a house, buying a car, what TV shows you're watching, what music you're listening to, what type of people you're around, what you say at work, who you eat with at break. God has to be number one in everything. Everything. That's how you get the benefits, and that's how you reap your reward. Continue to do good, for in due time you'll reap your reward. I love that verse. And Romans 12. Flee from evil. No, love must be sincere. Cling to what is good. Flee from evil. I try to cling to what is good. That is for sure. But basically, what's been on my mind is just, I keep hearing these sayings. And what's funny is that the honest guy, I'd almost rather have him, and I'm going to say a word, you can call it a bad word or whatever you want, just to get my point across. Asshole. We all have assholes at work. But the guy that says I'm an asshole and he's honest about it, I got more respect for that dude than just is being an asshole and won't admit it. Because there's a lot that says to somebody that can at least admit it, and then what's coming. This guy, the way it is. So, being honest with yourself and other people, that's the first step of the process. If the old saying, if it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, it probably is a duck. Well, that goes for everything. If you continually have heard over the years people say, oh, well, that was kind of rude, you said that, then chances are you're rude. If people say, why are you angry all the time? You're like, I'm not angry. And you've heard that repeatedly throughout your life. Chances are you're angry. If people say, man, you're always caught up in drama. And you're like, no, I'm not. But people just started around me. No, chances are you are starting it. If you're always in something, it's not always other people. It's something you're doing. That's almost a guarantee, 100%. Once you start to gain love for your fellow human beings and you don't want to be around anything like that, you won't be. But that's your choice. It's your choice how you respond to people. You can respond lovingly or you can respond not lovingly. And that's where drama and conflict come from. And it says to flee from these things. People that are like this, especially if they're believers, the Bible talks about not even eating with them. Don't even share a table with them. First of all, because it's just not things you need in your life. You can't be in constant conflict with people and stuff and, have the Holy Spirit. You just can't. It's the Bible talks about it a lot. So I would just challenge you, if there's some of these things in your life, think about them and be honest with yourself first. And start to tackle one of them. Because the more little stuff like that you tackle and get out of your life, the better your life will become. But you got to become humble. You got to lose your ego. You got to realize that you're just a small grain of sand, and if you died tomorrow, everything would go on. The people around you, your job, your kids, whatever you are, yeah, it'd be tragic, but life would go on. Life would go on. All these little decisions that you think you have to make and that you know the best way and this and that, it's not near as big as you think. I think it's funny when it comes to parenting. You got one parent that thinks that the key to having a successful kid or whatever is to show them love 24/7. But yet they'll go through a McDonald's drive-thru with their kid. And you got another woman who's busy working, mom. She shows her kid love, but not as much as she probably wants to. But she would never take her kid through a McDonald's drive-thru because in her mind, that's killing her kid because that food's so unhealthy. So it's all perspective. Which mom's right? They're both right. But So it's all perspective. That's why when you're not right, I'm not right, you're not right. We're both right. And I think when you can understand that, I love a saying that I heard. He said, I have learned that no matter who I meet, they are superior to me in one way or another. And I love that saying because it's so true. Because some people know more about fixing cars, some people know more about mathematics, some people know more about science, some people know more about, um, you know, manufacturing, whatever you want to say. So if you approach everybody you talk to like that, I think, and realize that you're all on an even, everybody's on an even plane, and don't think of yourself as superior to anybody, life starts to get a whole lot easier, a whole lot easier. Your opinion is not needed unless it's asked for. That is key. That's key to eliminating stress and anxiety in life. This is a big one I've found out. And I've started practicing this, and it's helped a lot. Do not give your opinion unless it's asked for. That one step right there will save you a lot of stress, especially in the work environment. Don't give your opinion unless it's asked for. Try it. Try it. See if your life don't start to get easier. I guarantee you it will. Anyways, just had some things on my mind this evening I wanted to get off my chest and ramble some things. Maybe they'll help some people. Like I said, this is all just tips and tricks, and I'm kind of learning along the way, but I think are beneficial because um, I guess the more relaxed and calm I get in my life, and the stronger I build my relationship with the Lord Almighty, He reveals things to me, I feel. And it's little things like this that I see in other people, and I just want to be like, dude, stop. You're creating all these issues in your life, and you think they're other people, and you're the one creating them. It's just amazing. Write down your day if you had a stressful day. You don't got to get all philosophical. Just write it down real short, and then go back and read it in a day or two. I guarantee you, if you do it honestly and you read it honestly, you'll realize that whatever the problem you had or the decision, or if you were stressed out, you'll realize reading it back to yourself in a couple of days that you'll be like, well, that wasn't really a stressful situation. Or, well, why was I so worked up about that? And then if you can transfer that over into your day-to-day and realize while you're doing it, or whether you're in the moment of something or talking to somebody, that, no, then your life will start to change for the better. Life will get so easy because you don't have to have down moments. You can be happy every day. You can be full of joy every day. You can be content every day. You can be stress-free every day. You can be conflict-free every day. You can. You know how I know? I have been for almost 3 months now. Other than a few little, maybe half a day here, a couple hours one day, and that was my fault. That's because I sinned, and it bothered me that much that I had to get right with God and put Him back to being number one, and then everything came back together. So nothing in life's that big a deal. You can change, but you got to be honest with yourself first. You don't got to change who you're around. You don't got to change your job. You don't got to change your boyfriend. You don't got to stay away from your parents more. You don't got to stay away. No, you have got to choose yourself. Be honest with yourself and say, hey, I'm not perfect. I need to change myself. Life will start to get way better. Lose your ego and remember, love reciprocates. I'm out.